Hello guys, welcome back to Flourish Field. In this video, we're going to be looking at the final aspect of the Translator app. And what we're going to be achieving today is to validate our login. The first one is, to make sure that our login details are correct. And then after that, we're going to be creating navigation bars, as you can see right here, and then translate from English to different language. Are you? So let's check that.
Comment êtes-vous?
Yeah, so something like this is what we're going to be achieving in this video. But before we continue, I would like you to subscribe, like, and comment in the comment section below. You really want to contribute to the growth of this channel. All right, let's get back to it. So this is our Thunkable environment. If you have any issue logging into your Thunkable environment, please check on the videos above, the link above, to check on the previous videos to understand how we got here before you continue with us. So what we have done so far is to create this environment, and as you can see, it has nothing for now. It's just, it's not validating anything. You understand? It's just like that. So what we want to do is to create first our navigation bars and then validate our login details. Now let's do that. Now to achieve that, you're going to go to the screen area, this place, and then you click on the plus sign. But this time around, you're adding a navigator. You can see we're going to add a navigator. So we want to add a navigator at the top of the app. So we're going to put it at the top of the app. So this is how it's going to look like when we, create the navigator. Yeah, this is how it's going to look like. But in this case, we're going to change the properties of these navigators. So let's start with the home property. This is exactly what we've done so far. And then don't forget to change also Mandarin to yeah. So that's the first step. Yeah. So we've been able to change the navigators. As you can see, the names is now French, Spanish, and Mandarin and others. So we're going to be doing a lot of designs right here in this video. So we're going to design the first one, and then the way we want it to be, we want it to look like this. So for the sake of timing and everything, we're not going to be doing everything in this video. I'm just going to showing you how to create for French and translate for French. And then we can all do the remaining one by ourselves. Like we can do the Spanish, the Mandarin, and the others by ourselves. because of our time. But if you have any question, you can always drop it at the comment section below, and I'll be very ready to help you out solving those challenges. All right, now let's focus on the French tab. Now the thing we want to do is we need to create a structure. As you can see right here, we have a label, we have image, we have another image, and then we want to arrange it in this way. So to do that, we're going to go back to Thunkable, and for the French, you need to go and drag first the label. You need to first arrange the structure, the label. So the label is right here. Now that our interface is ready, it's time for us to, begin the process of writing the code. But before you do that, you need to do a lot of things, not to, give yourself issues. Now, the first one is you need to rename your labels. Now, for example, you call this button one. You need to know the name of the button, which can be French translates button. Something will give you an idea of, okay, we're working with the French translate button. Now the label, which is this one, that would be, you can rename that to be French translate label, just for you to be sure that this is exactly what you're working with. Yeah, and then this text right here, you could rename it to be French text input. Yeah, something like that. And then for the images, yeah, we can leave this ones like that. So that's the first thing you've done. Now the second thing you want to do is to go to the block area. Now, as you can see, we are still at the design area where we design the user interface, where we use the components, and then we drag and drop the components to create the layout. Now, for us to start coding, we're going to go to the blocks area to start our work. Now, the first thing you want to do writing your code is to understand the logic. Now, let's go back to screen one. Now, the first thing we want to do is we want to be able to write a login details. We want to be able to type in something and then allow them in. So the only way of doing that right now is just by using text inputs. So what we want to do right now is, as long as the text input of the username is greater than 7, and also the text input of the password is greater than 7, allow the person in. Anything different from that, do not allow the person in. So that's the only validation that we're doing. Just make sure that your text input is greater than 7 and then your password is greater than 7. That is the only thing we want to do. Now, how do we achieve that? Now, to achieve that, we're going to go back to screen one. Don't forget that these are only the navigation components, right? But now we have also the screen components. Now, it is the screen component that we want to work with. Okay, so we're going to go to the screen component, and then we're going to go to the block area, and then we want to start coding. Now, the first thing you want to do writing your code is, okay, what should happen when I when I view screen one? Now, what we want to do is we want to go to the login button. This is the login button right here. And then we want to see when the login button is clicked, because that's the first thing we see, or that's one of the things that we see in the component when we log in. And then what we want to do is when we click on the login button, we want it to validate whatever the user has typed in inside username and password, right? So we go back to the code and then say when login is clicked. Now don't forget the way this block area have been arranged. We have code components, we have code block codes for the UI component, and also we have block codes for the core concept that we want to use. For example, we have control right here. You can see we have different control blocks. We have the forever loop, we have the repeat, we have the logic, we have the math, we have the text, we have the list. As we try to solve different problems, I'll be showing you how to use these blocks of code. But for now, let's focus on the screen one because that's where we're working on. So when we get to screen one, when the login button is clicked, what do we want to do? We want to confirm the text inputs in username and password. So what that means is we want to confirm what the user inputs inside here and here, right? So to do that, you're just going to go back to your code and then say, oh, you're going to use a logic for that. And then the logic would be, okay, we want to confirm two things. So we're going to use an AND operator. Now, AND operator is going to confirm two things. Just drag that and leave it right there. And then after you've done that, you can also now use your if else statements, which says, now, if the condition is true, then log in the person. Else, do not log in the person. That's the first thing we want to achieve. Now, to log in the person, we need to get the username greater than 7 and then the password greater than 7. So how do you know the username? Now the username is for this text box right there, and the name of the text box is what? Text input one. Yeah, and then for the password also, what's the name of the text box? Text input two. So you go back to the block, and then you say, okay, if the length. So how do we get the length of something? It has to do with text because that's how you know the length of something. So if the length of text input one, what's text input one? Go to component text input one, and then you just drag and text input. Where's text input? Yeah, this is it right there. If the length of text input one, you see what I'm doing? If the length of text input one is greater than, so that's a condition also. So you go back to logic and check the greater than sign. You drag this one right here, and then you put in the length of inside the first one. So if the length of text input one is greater than what? 7. So how do you get that? You go to numbers or math, and then you put in this one right there. You drag in this one right there, put it inside, and then you change that value to 7. Now what this means is if the length of the text you inputted is greater than 1. That's the first condition. So if I were you, just to make it easy, you can duplicate this because we need that also for the text input too. So you put that right there in the first slot. See? So what this means is if the length of the text input is greater than 7, and also if the length of text input 2 is also greater than 7. So what this means is if this two condition is true, then you can allow the user to navigate to friends. How do we do that? We're going to go back to screen and then scroll down to see where we navigate. Okay, so we're going to go to control. That's the way control. Can you see? So you can see something that says navigate. Now, what that navigate will do is to change your screen. You can see. So you're given the instruction that, oh, yeah, you can navigate to French, which is the first navigator you will see. Okay. Else, if it is not true, that is, if your text is not greater than 7, then I wanted you to still navigate, but you are going to stay in screen 1. That's all. You're going to navigate to screen 1, which is the screen that we're currently working on. So that is exactly what we're talking about. Now let's check that out and see what we've done so far. So we're going to go back to design and we're going to, check it on the live view right now. And so let's get into it. So if I type in a value, that's the only validation we have for now. I just want you to understand the concept. So we'll say Mike, and I decide to put a longer password for this one, and then I click login. It shouldn't take me in. Yeah, it's not taking me in. Now, the reason why it's not taking me in is because it is not, it's not satisfying the condition. But now, how would the user know that this is the right thing for me to do? We're supposed to, create a label that will let us that will let the user know that. So that's what we're going to do right now. So we're going to stop, go back to editing, and what I'm going to do right now is to create a new label. Yeah. So we're going to create a new label for that. All right. So we're going to add a new label, and before we do that, you can drag this down a bit. Yes. And then you add a new label right here. Now you can give the label a name by saying warning or something. You understand? Just for you to be sure. Yeah, okay. So you can change the label from label 3 to warning. Warning. And then what this will do is it will, let the user know that hey, you need your the length of your username to be 7 and also your password to be 7. You understand? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna change the color to maybe red, same red that we've been using, so that you can see that. And then we don't want anything to be there, empty for now, so that they don't see whatever we have right here. But instead of seeing empty, you're gonna say um, kindly input the no, no. Let's say your username and password are not the length of your username and password. Sorry about that. Must be greater than 7. All right, so that's it. So you should be able to design it right here. Yeah, just make sure it's something like that. You could also bold it so that the user can see it exactly. So now this is it. So, but the situation right here is when I click on web view right now, it shows me the warning, and I don't want to see that. Okay, I want you to see it there's a when there's an error in logging in. So I'm going to fix that in the code. So I'm going to go back to the code right now. It's something simple and straightforward. I hope you have an idea of what we're supposed to do. It's simple. So what you're supposed to do is you're going to say when the screen one is being launched. So you're going to go to screen one and say when screen one is opened. That's the first page. When it is open, I want to set warning to be invisible. So we're going to say set warning text invisible. Just going to check for that. Set warning is visible. Can you see that? Okay, yeah, this is right here. Set warning visible. But now you're going to go again to warning and say warning, and we're going to set. Yeah, this is it right here. Exactly. Thank you. All right. So we're going to say set warning visible to false. So what this means is you can always add a content comment to it. You say um, what this actually means is um, it means don't show it right now as long as the screen is open. So if you check that right now again now, it's gone. It's not going to show. You see? But we want it to show immediately when the user inputs the wrong value. So how do we do that? It's a simple also, just a simple code. You go to the else statement. You see, it is when it returns back to screen one that you want it to show. And then what you want it to do is okay, say, so when it is false, I wanted to set the warning to be visible. So what you're going to do right here is just duplicate and put it right in the false, and then says true. Now, this case is different. Immediately when you open your screen, it is going to be invisible. But once you put in the wrong input, it's going to return you back to the screen and then show the. No, now let's show you that. Let's check that if that is working. Now we go again, and then we run the code. So let's first start with the invisible one. So let's just put in something short, Mike, and you know, and when I click on login now, you see it's showing that already. Like the length of your username and password must be greater than 7. So the user knows exactly what to do now. So I say Mike Flourish 007, and I make sure that the only thing I just need to do is just to make sure that the password is greater than 7 for now because we don't have a database. So you can see now, and it takes me to the environment. And now this is where we are going to, also um, translate. Now, please permit me to end this video right here. So in the next video, I'm just going to show you the short code to make sure that we translate from English to French, and then we end the series. Although I said this is going to be the last video, but I think I would have to, stop the video right here and then, continue in the next video. I hope you understand this concept. Please feel free to, ask a question. Make sure use the comment section if you have any challenge. And in the next video, we're going to be looking at how to just translate using code. Thank you, and stay blessed and keep flourishing. Bye.